What if Earth had two moons? Imagine an evening when you look up at the sky and see not one, but two moons. One is the familiar silvery disk we've known since childhood. The other is smaller, perhaps tinged pink by the reflected light of the sunset. They dance around each other in a cosmic waltz, casting double shadows on the ground and opening a new sea of mysteries for humankind. This isn't just a pretty image from a science fiction film. A two-moon system could radically change life on our planet, from the simplest natural processes to complex human civilizations. Let's run a thought experiment and see what would happen to our world. To understand the consequences of a second moon, we first need to ask how it could appear. The most likely scenario is the capture of a large asteroid by Earth's gravity. Events like this have happened more than once in the solar system. Triton, Neptune's largest moon, was likely captured from the Kuiper Belt. Its retrograde orbit, circling in the opposite direction of the planet's rotation, supports this. Let's assume the new satellite is about 800 kilometers in diameter, roughly a quarter the size of our familiar moon. That makes it similar to Ceres, the largest asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. It gets the name Selene II and orbits Earth every 20 days, while our regular moon keeps its 28-day cycle. This difference in orbital periods creates a complex dance between the two satellites. Sometimes they draw close to each other, and sometimes they move to opposite sides of Earth. For such an asteroid to be captured, it would have to pass through a complicated gravitational dance with Earth and the moon. Astronomers call this gravitational assist. The object must come close enough to be seized by Earth's gravity, but not so close that it collides with the planet. This is extraordinarily rare. Mathematical estimates suggest the probability is less than one event per million years. The first and most obvious change would be the tides. Our moon creates ocean tides about 2 meters high. Adding a second satellite wouldn't just increase that number, it would create a complicated system of interacting gravitational forces. When both moons are on the same side of Earth, their forces add together, producing super tides up to 6 meters high. When they're on opposite sides of the planet, the effect partially cancels out, but tides would still be higher than usual. These changes would immediately affect coastal cities worldwide. They would force coastal settlements from Venice and Rotterdam to New York to urgently raise protective barriers, rebuild ports, and upgrade flood control systems. The mobile Mose barriers in Venice, which cost $7 billion and were completed in 2020, would need a complete overhaul. The Netherlands, 1/3 of whose territory lies below sea level, would have to build dikes up to 3 times higher. The country's famous system of polders and canals protecting 17 million people would require a full reconstruction. Port cities like New York, London, and Tokyo would face a fundamental rebuild of their coastal infrastructure. Megacities and river deltas would be hit especially hard. Shanghai, with 24 million people in the Yangtze Delta, would be flooded regularly. Dhaka in Bangladesh, home to 22 million, would be under constant threat of catastrophic floods. Without rapid action, rebuilding coastal zones and erecting additional dikes and flood defenses, such cities could end up underwater for good. But the most interesting changes would begin after a few years. Marine ecosystems, which have adapted over millions of years to predictable tidal cycles, would be thrown into chaos. Many fish, crabs, and mollusks reproduce according to tidal rhythms. For example, the grunion, a small fish off the California coast, spawns only during the highest full moon tides. Two moons would create a complex and unpredictable tidal rhythm. Today, animals rely on a simple pattern. Every 14 days, the moon goes from new to full. With two moons, it would get more complicated. One moon circles every 20 days, the other every 28. When both reach full at the same time, super powerful supertides arise. This would happen approximately every 140 days. Some species would benefit. Mangrove forests, which thrive in tidal zones and are home to about 25% of all marine species, would gain far more territory by dozens and in some places hundreds of kilometers inland along river deltas. Migratory birds that navigate by the moon would initially become disoriented. Arctic terns, which travel 70,000 kilometers each year from the Arctic to the Antarctic using lunar cues, would be forced to develop new strategies. They might eventually learn to use the complex pattern of two satellites for even more precise navigation. Agriculture would also change substantially, especially in regions where farmers traditionally rely on lunar lunar calendars. In India, over 600 million farmers still plan plantings according to lunar phases, believing it affects yields. In Australia, biodynamic agriculture, which also uses lunar cycles, brings in billions of dollars annually. With 2 moons, entirely new agronomic systems would be needed. Traditional periods for sowing vegetables on a waxing moon or harvesting grain on a waning moon would become irrelevant. Instead, complex calendars would appear that account for the interaction of both satellites. Some crops would gain advantages from additional light illumination, especially in northern latitudes with short summer nights. The most dramatic changes would touch human culture and psychology. The moon has always been a central symbol in religions, mythologies, and the arts of every people. In Greek mythology, Selene was the goddess of the moon. In Egypt, the god Thoth measured time by lunar cycles. In Chinese tradition, the lunar calendar still sets the dates of major holidays. The arrival of a second satellite would challenge millennia of spiritual traditions. The Islamic calendar is based on lunar cycles. 2 moons would force a rethinking of the dates for the holy month of Ramadan. The Jewish calendar is also lunar. Traditional holidays like Rosh Hashanah, New Year, and Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, would require new methods of calculation. For civil time and navigation, a unified solar standard akin to today's UTC would be adopted, while the 2 lunar cycles would be tracked in separate ephemerides. Religious and agrarian practices would use dual lunar calendars. Some religious groups would see this as a sign of the apocalypse, pointing to biblical prophecies of signs in the heavens. Others would view it as a blessing, a doubling of divine light. New cults devoted to the twin moons would arise, perhaps preaching a cosmic balance of 2 celestial powers. Astrologers would be thrown into complete confusion. Systems developed over millennia for a single lunar cycle would have to be completely rethought. New schools of dual astrology would appear, trying to interpret the complex interaction of 2 satellites. 2 moons would create incredible visual effects, double shadows, sometimes 2 faint moonbows from each moon, and intricate light patterns. Nights would be brighter, affecting the nocturnal lives of animals and people. Some bat and night bird species could expand their activity, using the extra light to hunt. Navigation would change as well. Sailors have used the moon's position for seafaring for centuries. A second satellite would initially complicate navigation, but later it would give mariners additional reference points, potentially making ocean travel more precise. The most significant changes would affect tidal power plants. These facilities use tidal energy to generate electricity. 2 moons would greatly increase the potential of tidal power. Countries with developed tidal systems, like South Korea and France, could become energy superpowers thanks to a constant, powerful flow of tidal energy. Most intriguing would be the effects on human sleep. Our circadian rhythm partly depends on moonlight. A second moon would make nights brighter, which could shorten sleep duration or change its quality. Some people might suffer from insomnia. Others might feel more energetic thanks to the extra light. Over the decades, long-term effects would appear. Persistently strong tides would gradually reshape coastlines. River deltas would be reconstructed under the influence of irregular tidal flows. Some islands could vanish beneath the waves. Others could reappear as sediments accumulate. The planet's climate would also change. An additional satellites would create more complex tidal currents in the oceans, affecting global water circulation. This could redistribute heat across the planet, making some regions warmer and others cooler. The most dramatic consequences would touch evolution. Life on Earth has developed for billions of years under the influence of a single lunar cycle. A second satellite would accelerate evolutionary processes, forcing species to adapt quickly to new conditions. Those that couldn't would go extinct. In their place, new species would emerge, adapted to life under complex tidal cycles. Science would receive a powerful boost. Studying an Earth double moon system would give astronomers a unique opportunity to investigate complex gravitational interactions. It would help us better understand the dynamics of other planetary systems in the universe. Space programs would change radically. A second satellite would open new possibilities for missions. The smaller moon would become a way station for journeys to the larger moon and farther into space. Its weaker gravity would make launches from its surface much easier. After centuries, humanity would fully adapt to the new reality. Children born into a world of double moons wouldn't be able to imagine a sky without 2 satellites. For them, it would be as natural a part of the world as the sun and stars. Architecture would change to account for new tidal conditions. Buildings in coastal zones would be constructed on stilts or floating platforms. New types of structures would appear, tidal houses that rise and fall with the water. Art and literature would capture the beauty of 2 moons in thousands of works. New poetic genres devoted to the dance of the two twin satellites would arise. Artists would create paintings of incredible nightscapes under double moonlight. Most importantly, humanity would learn to live in harmony with a more complex natural system. We would understand that our planet is part of a vast cosmic symphony and learn to dance to the music of two moons. But could such a system remain stable for millions of years? Gravitational interaction between the two satellites would gradually alter their orbits. Perhaps after millions of years, one of the moons would drift away from Earth, or conversely, fall into it. But that's a different story, about how worlds are born and die beneath the stars of the distant cosmos. By then, humanity would have had time to become a true spacefaring civilization, taught to live in harmony with the forces of the universe, under the light of two moons that changed our world forever.